Welcome to another edition of the Wheel Sales, presented by the Wheel Reads. We're on a different boat tonight. This is a Pearson Flyer. The name of the boat is Fat Bottom Girl. Make my rock and roll go round. So, a little different than the boat I'm normally on. That boat's still being repaired, or not being worked on, so it's out of the water. So I decided to go sailing and join these guys. They're kind of a backup boat for me. Go on there sometimes. We're going to start out with just doing a main hoist. As you can tell, the sail color is a little different than the other boat I'm normally on. These are Dacron sails, made out of more traditional sailcloth material, versus the other ones on the other race boat are that carbon fiber Kevlar weave and laminated. So the jib, or the front sail, is still going to be that carbon fiber Kevlar weave, but this main sail is Dacron. That's the material it's made out of. And you can see a little thing flapping. That's a telltale. It tells me whether the sail's trimmed correctly. My job here tonight is to do mainsail trim. So you can see those ropes that I'm grabbing to right there. Just loosen those so they can raise the sail all the way up. That is the main sheet. It's what controls the movement or the trim of the sail. This is a loose-footed sail, so you can see the sail's not connected to the boom in any ways. The other boat I race on is the same way. We're going to ask them to go ahead and pull in the outhaul, which is a rope or a line right on the mast. And you'll see him right here. He's pulling on it, and it tightens that foot of the sail down and gets a nice shape. You want it to be tight when we're going upwind. Beer's flying everywhere. But when you're going downwind, you want to loosen that up to give it that big full sail to catch as much wind downwind. Just wanted to show this. Normally I'm looking the other way on the camera, so I wanted to show this building back there behind us. That's an old abandoned restaurant. It's been abandoned since I think I was a little kid. I don't even know if we ever went there as a kid, but it's just an old dilapidated building that's really cool and eerie at the same time because it's abandoned and nothing's been in there for years. I think it still says for sale, no trespassing all over it. So if you guys ever want to buy a restaurant that's probably cost a ton to renovate, right on the water, that's set to, that's at the whims of any hurricane or storm that could come through, probably not the best real estate investment. So we're going to continue to go on out. I think my next shot I'm going to bring you guys is just raising up that jib. You can see it already on deck there. It's still inside the sail bag. We usually launch sails out of the sail bag. That way it doesn't blow away if a gust of wind catches it right. So there it is going up. See how it's that golden color? So that's that carbon fiber Kevlar weave. That's then laminated. So a lot stronger than Dacron. Also a whole lot more expensive. A lot of boats use Dacron for their mainsail, but then most boats use the more expensive for their smaller front sail. Just because if they're going to splurge on a sail, it's cheaper because it's a smaller one versus the big mainsail, which is going to cost a lot of money. Fun things about the Pearson Flyer: it is a very, very wide beam, or in the midsection width is really, really wide. Now we're actually sailing along. Whenever we're doing sail and I'm doing mainsail trim, I'm going to be looking at the sail a lot. So you see me, I look around, I look up, I look around, I look up. So my job's kind of two-part here. I'm trimming the mainsail, but at the same time, I'm actually calling tactics for this race, getting everybody ready for a start. So we're doing things before the start, like timing how long it takes us to sail from one side of the starting line to the other, and count that out so we know when we're fully powered up how much time we have before we run out of room. We're also looking at other boat positions, wind positions, current positions. We go and check the current. This particular day, the tide was going out pretty strong, so we had a pretty strong current flowing outwards. So we actually talked about doing what's called a dip start, where we start above the line to windward, so closer to the wind, and where everybody else is below the line coming up to it, start above it, dip down. You have no rights doing it, but if you time it just right, and their control current, we have more speed. We could dip down below, clear the line, and cut right over. We also went ahead and did a spinnaker raise just before the start, just to make sure the spinnaker was packed correctly. So you can see right there, it's going up. And yep, they're taking the sail up. Actually, they're taking it down. This is the spinnaker douse. So we just finished doing that and then decided to take it down and get ready for the start. we had a little bit of a hairy start, so we wanted to do a port tack start. So when you're sailing and you're on port tack, right now we're on starboard tack. So the wind's blowing across the starboard side or the right side of the boat. The sails on the left side are the port side of the boat. Port tack, exact opposite. The wind's blowing across the port side of the boat, or the left side, and the sails will be over on the right or the starboard side. When a port boat and a starboard boat are about to collide with each other, actually the starboard boat has rights over the port tack boat. So right now we don't have rights, meaning that if there's a collision coming anytime, we have to get out of the way. That was maybe we were on starboard on that one. This is now we're on port. So a port tack start is kind of hairy because you have no rights going in there. If any boat comes up to you on starboard, you have to get out of their way. One thing I'm doing right now is, like I said, I was checking that mainsail. You'll see all those little plastic tabs flowing off the back. You want those all to be streaming. If any one of them are curling back or in front, that means your mainsail's not trimmed correctly, and you can kind of look up and see them streaming back behind. So we got good mainsail trim. So one question you might ask is, why would you ever start on port tack? Well, the reason being is lots of reasons. One, when the committee, this racing committee sets the line, they might make it so favorable that a starboard tack has a really hard time of making the line, and therefore port tack makes sense. Also, the wind might shift. Here, particularly the left side of the course was really favored, so we wanted to be on the pin side, and a port tack approach would allow us to come in there, then tack over into starboard and sneak in there. At least that was the idea behind it. Of course, if any boats go on starboard, you have no rights, and it's a really risky move, but we decided that it might be in our best interest that boats might be fighting for the right side, and then maybe we could stay to the left, closer to the bar and out of the current on that side, which a lot of people go to the right when the current's running like this. So it would give us a lot of clear air in theory, and hopefully a really good start. So, like I said, best plans sometimes don't always work out, but that's the idea behind it. So as we're approaching for the port tack, of course, the wind shifts, and it was not any more favorable to do a port tack approach, but we were already committed, so it is what it is. We actually had a little bit of a hairy start. Right now we're still getting ready for the start. The boat I normally race on, we actually start at the same time as this one. We're just always late getting out, so this boat got out a whole lot more early. Allowed us some time to do some practice maneuvers, a few tacks, put the spinnaker up and do a takedown. Here's us just running through some of the other fleet boats. You can see how close sometimes they get. That's a sonar. That's the boat that just passed us with that T on the sail. They actually are sponsored by a local bank. So that's where that is. So you're going to see a tack here. Tack's when you move against the wind, so we break all the sails. I duck underneath the boom as it swings over. The sail goes to the other side. They trim it in, and we are good to go. So the first thing I do is I pull on that main sheet, get nice and tight, and then there's actually a pulley system that runs along the bottom for the traveler. Now here's our actual start. So you can see the mark there. That's the pin that one side of the starting line, the left side. And you can't see any boats below us because we have sails in the way. So we have the guy in front that's supposed to be calling out if there's any boats coming up on us. And whether it was too windy or whatnot, yep, there's a boat right there. So we had to do an emergency tack real fast and get out of the way. Luckily, we were still able to start and recover pretty well. So, it happens. Literally, his one job was to watch for boats. I didn't hear him call out for it. He might have. It was windy. We just might have not have heard. Here, we're calling for water. So we are tacking on the port, which means we don't have right-of-ways right in front of this boat that's on starboard. So when can you actually do this? So one of the rules is if there's an obstruction, or if the water's getting shallow, you can call for water or obstruction, meaning that, hey, boat behind me, I know I'm not in the right, but you got to let me get out of here, otherwise I'm going to crash. You are allowed to then tack over to the wrong tack as long as you inform them first of what you're doing, and it's a valid thing, like a big giant pier, or sometimes water is one of those things you call for and they don't really know, but they can go back and check the charts and see that you're within a reasonable suspicion of running aground. So overall, it was a fun day of racing. We had some good wind. The crew did a really great job just racing around. I had a fun time just turning the spinnaker and just being on a more chill boat than a faster race boat. Although they do stay competitive. As every once in a while, it's fun to get on a boat that just wants to have a few beers and just relax. So yeah, leave you with a couple more shots of us just sitting around some of the boats. We weren't the first ones in, weren't the last ones either. So all in all, great day on the water. Nice getting some rays of sun. And that's all I really got for this week. So, because my battery died, so I didn't get the whole race. Next time I'll check my battery and make sure I get the whole race in there, so you guys can see more of how the finish and everything looks. So until next time, peace.